Back in the 1990s, our Secretary of State for Education was part of a top club.
And Michael Gove.
Then, as today, he knew how important extracurricular activities could be, helping, as he would put it, to build character and instill grit.
His main hobbies are real ale and real women.
Back then, he was good at the politics.
Well done. Who succeeded Gerald Ford as president? For you, Michael.
Jimmy Carter.
It was Jimmy Carter.
A gift his critics say never left him. They point to his dismissal, announced this weekend, of the Ofsted head Sally Morgan as a case in point.
I'm really worried that what we're seeing is a politicisation of such an important body such as Ofsted, really when it has so much to do on school standards, on school improvement, on collaboration, and what we're seeing is the Secretary of State playing politics with this really important post.
What do you say to that, Michael?
False.
So how much is it about politicisation of the role, as claimed by the Lib Dems and Labour, and how much is it part of a wider Gove vision, a man who has such a clear idea of what he's determined education should be about, that he doesn't want anyone, least of all anyone at Ofsted, to get in his way?
When they have an interest in what they affirm.
When they have an interest in what they affirm, that's very, very good.
Holland Park School, name-checked by Mr Gove in his speech this morning, exemplifies the ambition and ethos of excellence he wants to see everywhere. It's a state school that's changed dramatically in the last 10 years, from the pretty parlour state Ofsted found it in 2003 to the outstanding rating it was granted last time around in 2011. I asked the head, Colin, if he worries about politicisation of Ofsted.
I think inevitably one worries about that, and I think it would be regrettable if the political landscape and the educational landscape were so fused that they had become inseparable. It's not been my experience in any Ofsted inspection that I felt any degree at all of politicisation. I think one, certainly in 2011, felt a particular brand that one hadn't felt in previous inspections.
Mr Gove is ambitious. He believes the success story of places like Holland Park can be repeated throughout the state sector. And today sounded the death knell on that well-worn phrase of the Blair administration, the bog standard school.
The facts now show beyond any reasonable doubt that English state education is starting to show a sustained and significant improvement.
The Gove vision isn't just sweetness and light. Today's speech also told teachers to punish where they see fit. He even told them how to do it.
Schools can insist on a detention, whether at lunch break, after school or at weekends. And they do not need, as they used to under Labour, to give parents notice. They can ask students to do extra work, or to repeat unsatisfactory work, to write lines or an extra essay.
Mr Gove has seen himself as locked in a struggle with this little fella, the blob, the amoebic slime emblematic of the quangos and institutions that are meant to stand in the way of radical change.
But if the Secretary of State has a strong feeling, a passion about the direction that Ofsted should be going in, shouldn't he be allowed to exercise that?
Yes, Secretary of State should have autonomy and power. But what we're facing at the moment, Emily, is a situation where everyone's saying Sally Morgan is doing a good job. We are seeing Ofsted inspecting in a new and creative manner in certain circumstances. She is working well with Michael Wilshaw, and yet the Secretary of State's getting rid of her for essentially party political purposes.
Now, I understand a lot of this hinges on the relationship between the Chief Inspector of Schools, Sir Michael Wilshaw, and Michael Gove himself. Sir Michael was brought in as a man who shared Mr Gove's passions and understanding of the need for reform at Ofsted, and yet some say he struggled to bring the institution with him.
2 weeks ago, Michael Wilshaw saw red, angered by reports that plans were being drawn up to reform, even replace Ofsted. And last year, David Cameron appointed to the Cabinet Office a former Conservative campaigns officer, a move Labour fear will fill the top jobs with more Tories. Michael Gove insists this isn't part of a bigger number 10 plan, that the Morgan move was, shall we say, all his own work. The Education Secretary is a man who's known for his zeal and a sense of doing things his way, as the top club might once have sung.
It's got to be perfect.